All right, we talking business offline. Now let's get into our clown mode. Hey, what's going on? Miguel, host of Life Full Circle Radio. What's going on? I think I might need to get somebody to bring me some water because I'm still on the back end of what I've been dealing with the last 2 weeks. And I think between Georgia to Florida, where kids, I think I gave it her somehow. It went through the line, so we're going to see in a minute. Happy belated birthday to my big homie. Father-in-law turned 75 this weekend. I was in Milwaukee celebrating with him, and it was cool to hang out and see him be surprised. So that was cool. So last time we was on the air, because we weren't on the air last week because of technical difficulties, and we had the week before that we had a conversation with an expert on Israeli history. We had a gentleman that was in Israel. We had a really heavy show. But there's been a lot of conversation over the last 2 weeks that we're going to dig into that a little bit more. The Palestinian protests are going on all over the world. They've cut off all communication, all internet, all everything to the Palestinians. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Dwight Howard. Interesting. I don't watch reality TV hardly at all, but I remember one of his, I don't know if they were ever married, wives or baby mama. She was had some of his kids, or one of his kids, I don't know, but she's a little touched. But she used to always talk about Dwight Howard and how he was a little touched too. And we just kind of, I don't know how Dwight Howard has kind of got to ignore. Nobody really paid much attention to how off the chain Dwight Howard is, but folks are paying attention now. So we're gonna talk about that. Then what was the other thing we said we was gonna talk about? I forgot. All right, let me just bring in the super producer because she'll remind me. Yeah. What's going on, Snotty Johnson?
I know. I'm so sorry to everybody who's listening to me and hearing this voice and my peppermint patty wig because it needs to be recurred. My no makeup. I've had this nasty dress on. I don't know if you can see this, but my kids got a hold of my mic.
That's really. Oh my God, you are definitely a mother. You couldn't even take a baby. You couldn't even take a baby wipe. That's why you staying sick. You got the dog of snot on your microphone.
Dude, I just found the top to this microphone a second ago. My mom, I was like, Mom, have you seen the top of my mic? Oh, I found it. It's in the back of your desk.
Oh my God, stuck to the desk with some snot. All right. So anyway, we as we mentioned, we had our brother Noam that was on, our guest that was on a couple weeks ago, and that was an interesting conversation because what is going on over in the Middle East now between Israel and Palestine, and then of course the other countries that are coming in, Iran and Egypt and Syria, and there's exactly, we didn't forgot that Russia is still in a war.
Now, just to jump in and give you guys some interesting facts that I saw today. There was a flight coming into Russia from Tel Aviv. Okay. The Russian area where this airport is, where it's highly Muslim, a lot of Muslim residents. They tore that airport apart. I don't understand what their goal was. It could have been their goal was to keep. It could have been to keep the flight from coming in. It was very odd, but for Russia to be one of the most militarized countries in the world, and they were able to tear that airport the F up, is insane to me.
We're in a very, very dangerous time right now, and it's, I think because we're over here in America, it's kind of like we don't see that. I think the proximity of the Middle East and Eastern Europe, that the countries are pretty close to each other, just and all but it's some wildness going on in the world right now, and it's some old apocalyptic type of this has been going on. The Palestinians and the Israelis.
Let's just go into the conversation. Let's just lead with that. Like, first, we never got to digest about our conversation from about, it might have been 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
But that conversation was very smart. It was handled very well. It was a lot of information given. I have a newfound respect for the word Zionist that I didn't have before because, it's turned into a slur. I also I'm building a good friendship with Judah, who wants to come back on and talk about the relationship between blacks and Jewish people, which I think is a whole separate conversation.
He was Jewish. That's right.
He's Jewish. He's Jewish, but he lives in the West Bank.
Yeah.
And now what's happened now is that a lot of people are now protesting for a ceasefire. They're not protesting to support Hamas. They're not even protesting to free the hostages. Everybody wants the hostages to be free, but it really is. There needs to be a ceasefire right now to save the civilians in Israel and to save civilians who are in Palestine. And those protests are getting a lot of backlash. There's actually in Harvard, I think you probably have heard about this. There's a group of kids who have protested about, free Palestine and kind of holding Israel to the feet to the fire about their things they've done wrong. And those kids have been doxxed. Their scholarships are being threatened to take away. And I'm not a fan of that.
Where is this?
Harvard.
Yeah. There's a part of this conversation. When we were leading up to this show, I called you. And I said, we got to be careful about how we go about this. For people who don't know, there are anti-BDS laws, executive orders, things that have been signed in some 30 plus states, between 30 and 35 states, that basically say that if you are perceived to have been, or that you are protesting against Israel, you can't get government contracts. This is in America, guys. You can't get government contracts. You could actually, in some countries, actually face incarceration for speaking or protesting against Israel. And so you look at that thing, you're like, whoa. So what prompted us to want to have the conversation that we had a couple of weeks ago, and we want to continue that conversation. And for those, this is our YouTube page. Make sure you follow us on YouTube.
Yes, find us on YouTube.
Find us on YouTube. Was we kept seeing all of this conversation around what was going on. This is when we first had. It was only a week after the first when we first started this phase. But I was like, everything we see is about Israel. It's about Israel. This terrible thing that happened to Israel. Nothing about the Palestinians. Nothing about the guys. Nothing about the folks who were behind. And I look at that thing and I say, it was absolutely terrible what happened. No question. But when you look at what else is going on over there, you say, hold on, guys. You got people. That's just like saying, on the Florida-Georgia border, Georgians and Florida and people from Florida are in conflict, and we sitting back here, 140, 300 miles away, and we got, people from Florida who live next to us, and we cool with them. But now it's like the people that are related to me that are closer to the border are fighting. Now I'm supposed to hate this guy that I've been living next to for the last 5. Now that's, of course, that's an extreme example. They've been going at it for a long time. Yeah. But the point is just like, but now you've got, for people who don't understand, if you look at a map and I may try to pull one up, you look at a map, the West Bank is closer to the northeastern side of Israel. The Gaza Strip, and it's interesting, they call it the West Bank, but I guess that's because it's the West Bank of Israel. It's the west side of Israel, but it's the east side of Palestine. Anyway, it's called the West Bank. West Bank is in the northeast side or northwest side of Israel. You drop down to the southwestern part of Palestine or whatever. Then you got the Gaza Strip, which is right banked up against the water, banked up against Egypt. It's all to another side of the country. And then I'm still trying to understand, because it's really, you can't travel freely across anywhere around there if you're a Palestinian. If people decide to come in there and they want to take your home and give it to someone who's Israeli, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, and I think the other part of the conversation that, we realize is I hate the fact that a lot of celebrities are making comments because none of them are educated. It's a bunch of gobbledygook, and I used to love Deborah Messing from Will and Grace, but she's so pro-Israel, she could care less about what's going with the Palestinian plight. She's had to edit several posts when people are like, Israelis aren't the only people who are suffering. There are Palestinians who are suffering as well, and that's why I appreciate people like Judah, who came on, who was like, listen, the West, mind y'all business.
Yeah.
We need to learn to live in peace. This is not like this just popped up out of nowhere. This has been going on for a while, and it needs to be resolved. Another thing I find highly annoying, and I'm sorry to the Jewish community, but you all saying you feel like you're not supported. I'm sorry, I hate that. How much more support?
Whatever much more support.
What more are you guys looking at for us? You guys are the most protected group of minorities this side of anywhere. You are supported. You have gotten reparations for the and I've said this to people, I got reparations for the Holocaust. You have people sending money to Israel. You have people doing everything they can, and you're still just like, we feel unsupported. Well, what do you want us to do? Are we supposed to give you the skin, the clothes off our back for you to feel supported? What do you want from us?
And then to want that from Black people, I struggle. I'm not going to sit up here. I purposely produced that show 2 weeks ago for a reason. I wanted to do a lot of listening, and I wanted to get perspective, right? But I had this conversation with Trey earlier today. I said, as an African American, we are by far the most unprotected group of people in the Western world. I'm not going to sit up here and act like there aren't countries and there's not people in South America and people there's people who have it worse than us.
There's pockets all over the world who have it worse than we do. Absolutely.
But for us to be in the Western world as African Americans, we don't have a real home anywhere, of places that we can feel protected. I watched, and this is part of what ginned up this part of the conversation. I was on a plane, and there's a podcast. The guy who used to be on TMZ that got into the spat with Kanye.
Yes, Van Lathan.
Van Lathan has a podcast with Rachel somebody, and they had an episode on the plane, which I was surprised, but it was with Emmanuel Acho. I don't know if you know who Emmanuel Acho is.
I'm familiar, but not super familiar.
Okay, so Emmanuel Acho played in the NFL. He is on FS1, Fox Sports 1. He is a Nigerian American. His brother is also on ESPN. He's on FS1. His brother's on ESPN. But there's an interesting part of the conversation where he's a very bright guy. He's got a show called Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Guy. And he always, I guess with these shows, full disclosure, I've never seen his show, but by Van's assertion and by his response, he basically is the Black guy, goes in the room and interviews white people to make them feel comfortable about all the stuff that's wrong with how they deal with Black people. But the one thing that Van, it was an hour and a half of me watching him almost berating Emmanuel Acho, and Acho sitting there, and a couple of times said, this is a waste of my time, but he did it respectfully. But the one thing that jumped out to me, he said, as a Nigerian American who grew up in Dallas and went to a Black church, but went to school with a lot of white people, I get it. But I don't have the emotional trauma as an African American.
No.
I said, And then as that conversation persists, that's something that we're going to have that conversation soon. I want to have a conversation with someone of African ancestry, first generation, whether it be Nigerian, Ghanaian, whatever, because there is a conversation that is ongoing now around the American descendants of slaves, ADOS folks, and African folks. But the point is that Emmanuel has this perception that we can't look at all Black people and say all Black people in America had the same experiences, because we don't.
No.
Caribbean Americans don't have the same experiences.
No.
Africans don't have the same experiences. And it's that trauma that says, if worst case, Emmanuel knows where his tribe is in Nigeria. If worst case scenario, he says, I'm tired of America, I'll just go back home. I don't know where home is outside of Hampton, Virginia.
Well, and I feel like, and that's what a lot of the Jewish people are saying online, saying that Israel is our home, and if it's blown off the map, we wouldn't have anywhere to go. And they're like, that's devastating to me. And as a Black person, like you said, we have no home. Like, is it that devastating to you? Like, what do you like? I just can't relate to it, because we can't relate back to a direct tribe. I mean, I guess we could if we use Ancestry.com or 23andMe or whatever.
Right.
But I get uncomfortable when they start saying things like that. If Israel's blown off the planet, I have nowhere where I feel safe. Are you joking? Here's the thing about, and I hate to say that, and it bothers me, but you can hide being Jewish. I'm not suggesting that you can. I'm not saying that you should. But nobody would know you were Jewish unless you said something. We are Black.
Right.
There is nothing that hides this.
Nothing at all.
We get discriminated against left, right, and sideways just because of, I was going to say about our names, but Miguel's name is Miguel, so he doesn't right off the bat. But me as Nakia,
my Hispanic family.
Nakia Shakur, it screams Black lady or Muslim lady coming through here. It's one of these two things, and we can't hide that. So how do you feel unsafe in a world that doesn't know what your religious or cultural background is?
Well, I think, and it would be hard for me to speak directly, but I subscribe to your perspective on that. Thank you. My queen's bringing me tea.
Yeah. You know, he's got full service. I had full service. My full service is out of town in New York. Oh my God. So, he's gone. He's been gone since Thursday, right?
Why would I know that?
Sorry, I thought I told you. He's been gone since Thursday. It's been me white knuckling it here. My mom just got here yesterday. I've been white knuckling it.
First of all, you Black, you don't get white knuckles. Anyway, so, but no, I'm of that mindset that we as Black folks and Asians are the two that can never hide, right? You cannot hide this brown skin. If you even some Hispanics and Latinos can hide because they can pass. There's several groups of white Latinos. Correct. I have friends who thought they were white until I went to their house for a party and they started talking to family members. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah,
you're really
for real.
Really
and it's something you can turn on and off. You cannot turn being Black on and off. You can't turn being Asian on or off. But I think
Middle Eastern can't turn off.
Well, some if you get a certain haircut and there's some. So my point is that following up on your point about Jewish folk is that yes, they can when they can be anywhere in America and people don't even question whether or not they're Jewish or not.
I have a delay, just so you know.
Oh, you do? I don't. Do you say talk? Hey, haha, hey, move your lips.
Test.
You're fine. Are you getting my feed slow?
It's fine. It's me. I don't care. Let's keep moving. I'm tired. I'm too tired and delirious. Maybe it's just the fever. It's just the fever doing this.
So anyway,
all right.
So to follow up, we're going to keep an eye on this, obviously, because we don't have a choice, right? It's bleeding into. We do need to talk about this new Speaker of the House as well, and his Black son that let's keep around. But it's bleeding
the way you say that, like he just found some like Michael Orr style kid off the side of the road. Like, look, here's my Black son.
I don't think he adopted the guy when he was 14. I believe he may have done that. So
he was
right.
Okay.
So it's bleeding into our politics. You've got Marjorie Taylor Greene that's trying to censure Talib. I mean, what's her name in Minnesota?
Not Talib Kweli.
Not Talib Kweli. I almost did the same thing. That's my man.
Let me find it.
Omar. Anyway, she'll find it. The congressman out of Minnesota. She's Palestinian, only Palestinian American congressman who's serving, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is trying to censure her and trying to pull up some stuff from a part of her trying to censure her is based on the fact that she says she dared to say anything against the Jewish faith or Israel. And that's just something, in this country that's known for freedom of speech, the fact that there's this question of us having that type of dialogue that is really unnerving, that's where we are, right? So anywho, so let's move on. We're gonna keep an eye on that conversation, but we're gonna continue to pray for all that's involved. We want this to stop because Benjamin Netanyahu is not playing. I think he's looking at this as an opportunity to finish what they've been trying to finish for years.
Rashida
Tlaib. And I don't know how this is going to end. It's looking really bad. I think just 2 days ago they cut off all communications for the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip, and it's really.
And you know who's stepping in to fix that?
Who?
I'll give you one guess who's stepping in to fix that.
I choose not to. Who?
Elon Musk has offered his entire I want to call it Skynet. It's not Skynet, that's Terminator. But his whole, but I will call it Skynet. He's offered all of Skynet to be shipped over and connect with satellites to give the Palestinians communication to their family out. The only issue with doing this, and I get why a lot of people are wary of this, is because Hamas is very crafty and they hide behind the civilians, and they see this and they could find an end. And I get where people's like, well, if you support Palestinians, you support Hamas, is because they are literally using civilians to hide behind. Even though Israel is not doing a good job, they are bombing them, they are not safe, Hamas is leaving them as sitting ducks on purpose.
Yeah,
Starlink. It might as well be Skylink from Terminator.
But to your point, Hamas, the governing body of the Palestinians, of the folks in Gaza, they are the terrorists. Of course, they're always going to be labeled as terrorists if they are opposing the West.
Yeah.
And of course, what they did was a terrorist act. But we just, God, I just want everybody. Once again, we said this last couple weeks ago. We're human. We believe in protecting all in the human. At least I do. I'm not going to speak for Kia, but I believe in,
yes.
And I don't want people killing each other. I want people to be able to find ways to live amongst each other. But when you look at the historical references that are going with this is something that has been pending for a long time, and we don't know when and if it's going to stop, because they've been warring off and on for thousands of years. And so we just happen to see it now because of all of the internet, because we're in a day and age where there's visuals on everything. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about
Dwight Howard.
We're going to talk about Dwight Howard. All right, let's get into Dwight Howard. Go ahead, set it up.
Dwight Howard is a sociopath. Okay. And I say that for a reason. Let's get into it. So, for those who don't know, Dwight Howard is a, what would you call him? Successful NBA player?
Very successful. He should be.
Cool.
He'll be. Outside of this, he should be going to the Hall of Fame unless they blackball him. But he's had a very great career.
They shouldn't. He is a very successful basketball player. He came in as the clean-cut Christian kid, and then he had 9 kids with 8 different women. Whatever, fine.
He did come in as a clean-cut Christian kid. He actually did. You just reminded me of something. Wow.
He had a full rollout. He had a full preacher's kid rollout. And then he had his first baby. Everybody forgave him. Second baby, everybody forgave him. Third baby, everybody side-eyeing. And now it's just like, come on now, dude. Like, you're just ridiculous. But he had a baby's mom. I think his first child is with Royce Reed, who was on Basketball Wives. And she was legally barred from mentioning him. Anyway, he continued his basketball career. And
she was legally barred for doing what?
From talking about, yes.
That's why she's barred, because she used to talk about him? That's why.
No, she wasn't even allowed. She wasn't barred. Even when she signed up for the show, his lawyers told her, you are not allowed to mention my name or our child's name on that show.
Okay.
But they didn't write it well enough because she was allowed to say a power forward from the Orlando Magic, which is pretty. Anyway.
Yeah.
So he's had a pretty quiet career in the last 5 years, I want to say. But in July of 15 to 2022, Gwinnett County Police said they received a rape report. According to incident reports from Gwinnett Police, first obtained by Radar Online, an officer called Harper, and Harper said that he had been sexually assaulted by Howard. According to a summary written by an officer, Harper went to Dwight Howard's house on July 19, 2021, where they watched TV and kissed. And about 5 a.m., another person came over, and that person and both Howard wanted a threesome. I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of that, but basically the guy, Harper was coerced into having a threesome he did not want to have, and was according to him, was sexually assaulted. Mind you, both of these are men. Mm-hmm. So fast forward to Harper filed a lawsuit on later that year on July 18th in Gwinnett County, and went into more detail about what Harper said happened. Part of the suit, the two men met over Instagram DMs and moved text messages where they talked about meeting up over the summer of 2021, blah, blah, blah. They go into the whole situation, how they met, how they communicated, and then what happened. And then this is not the first time that a person has said publicly that Howard has harassed them. In 2018, Masad Eji said that Howard harassed and threatened him after they broke up. Howard's NBA team at the time, the Washington Wizards, never commented. Radar reported that EJ sued Howard a year later, saying he was allegedly harassed and followed by goons after he refused to sign a non-disclosure agreement.
This is a man or woman we're talking about.
This is still a man. Still a man.
Okay.
He has not had a full-blown female relationship, and since he dated like one of the girls from Bad Girls Club 5 years ago. Every relationship since then has been actively with men. But I could go on and on about the situation. So now Dwight Howard is
I'm
basically
literally
saying,
sipping my tea.
hey, I get it. Now Dwight Howard is basically coming out of the closet, I guess you would say, saying we had a consensual relationship.
He said, telling everybody to mind their business. Mm-hmm.
But that's not the first statement. The first statement was, we had consensual sexual relations, and I did not sexually assault anybody.
Right.
I hate his current stance of, why does everybody care? Well, y'all are weird for caring. It's like, are you dumb? Are you stupid? Do you not realize what's happening? You didn't come out as a gay man because you wanted to come out, where everybody probably would have been like, oh, that's weird, would have supported you. Instead, you were outed for sexual assault as a gay man, which is already a stigma that a lot of gay men in the community have to deal with. And now you're coming out doing it. And now you're actually acting like, oh my God, why do you guys care? You guys are so weird. I hate that. Do you hate that? I hate that. That's my annoying part.
Do I hate it? No, I am trying my best to ignore most of this, right? I just am. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's a whole different conversation around this thing. I think when you get to that certain point, as a public figure, unfortunately, we're at a place right now that is just difficult for even us as just average streamers, right? To keep all of our stuff private. If we all of a sudden start blowing up, and then people start digging in, then they're going to find stuff to say and things about us. You are Dwight Howard. You are former dunk contest winner. You are 15 going on 20 years of national notoriety in the league. People are going to care. I don't care, but I'm not people. You know, people are going to always want to know this stuff. And then he comes out with this, you guys are just weird. You know, like, you worrying about where I'm doing blah, 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 blah. And, you know, part of, and let's see if the video's not here. Part of the challenge that I have sometimes with this is that some of the conversations around, you know, why, you know, heterosexual men don't feel comfortable about these conversations, which I don't. I know. You know, because it's not a lifestyle that I subscribe to. But live your life. It is what it is. The problem I have with it is that once you say like something that I just said, that can be perceived as being homophobic. Why? No. Live your life. Live your life. How you gonna live your life? That's your business. You know, and then, and then the whole thing. I'm coming right to you. The whole thing, like Mace and Cameron have a sports show. Let me make sure my quotes are in the camera. Sports show.
I know it's not, but I get it.
And Mace, you know, basically, you know, and maybe I'll try to find a video, but you know, he's kind of taking that heterosexual stance that we all have taken right now. Like, hey man, do you? Hey. Anytime I can tell you guys, anytime you see us sit back with a man, do you? That's our way of diffusing and like, bruh, do you? And I don't really know at this point, Kia, how else we're supposed to handle it.
Here's my thing. Dwight, this is your fault. You should have been more responsible as a man with sexual partners. Let's say this wasn't a gay man who came. If this was a girl who came out and accused you of sexual assault, and you came and gave that same raggedy statement you just gave, everybody would feel the same way. Like, dude, what is wrong with you? That statement of, oh, we were just having a good time, it was consensual, even though this woman is telling you that she felt sexually assaulted in the Me Too era, you think that would have flew in this era?
No. It would have been bad. And the thing about it is,
we're in the same situation. You have sexually assaulted a gay man. You're not trying to discredit him
but he's saying, he's trying to say he wasn't sexually assaulted. So it's kind of a double-edged sword for Dwight.
It is.
The cross-dressing friend of yours, who was
Miss Kitty.
Miss Kitty was don't make me do that.
Sorry. You said
it's basically your alibi in saying it was a consensual situation. It was not about anything that was not consensual. And I'm assuming this is Miss Kitty on the right. Is that right? Is that?
I think so. I think that is Miss Kitty. And Miss Kitty is someone he has apparently been sexually active with for a very long time.
Okay.
Miss Kitty is not new, so they brought other people in. But again, Dwight, no one cares. Legit, no one cares about you being gay. It is the messiness of this coming out the way that it has. That's why everybody cares.
I hope it's not as bad, and we're not going to take him down the R. Kelly trail. Not yet.
Oh my God. Like Trey Songz is about to go down? Like Trey Songz has been going down for the past 2 years?
I've heard Trey Songz for the last 6 years was...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody can't be lying about Trey Songz.
That's a different conversation. I've heard some stuff about Trey Songz that I'm
so
like, bruh,
I have friends.
Lucky you on the other side. You're on the other side of them jails, of them bars right now. I've heard.
I have friends from college, girlfriends, who have met him, who I thought it would be fun to sleep with him, and it has gone not the way they wanted. They have been spit on.
Yeah. They
have been kicked out. Like Trey. Anyway,
there's been video across these internet streets with on camera. Loogies. Anyway. Yeah, Trey Songz.
Anyway, let me go back to what I was going to say. If Dwight Howard had... Also, I want to know who's in his PR team. Because if Dwight said, hey, I've got these sexual assault cases from these guys, I don't know, they're claiming this and this, I would have been like, hey, Miguel, come over here. We're going to have this rollout for Dwight. I know exactly what we should do. He should come out in People magazine, do the full embracing it, the full proud, the full I was a PK kid who was hidden and couldn't do this, and I thought I was supposed to do this as an NBA player, a full happy rollout. Get him in Out magazine. Get him on a pride parade. Get him in a whole new realm of people. Oh, why are you saying that? I would have been full and either embrace it.
Well, because once again, first of all, he's a professional athlete. And
not really anymore. He's not.
He was just in China last year.
That's China.
He was just in China last year. He has aspirations. He can still play. He can still be a contributor to an NBA team. So there's that. There's conversations around. That's part of the reason why he hasn't been in the league the last couple of years, because at that point, you have people who feel a certain way. I don't see. Here's the thing: like, we've known forever that Queen Latifah is at minimum bi. At minimum, right? That's her business. I am so in the camp of that's their business. So all this rolling out.
No, you are 1,000% right. Yes. I'm only saying this because he has the allegations, not because he's gay.
That's not going to make the allegations go away. That's the thing.
But it doesn't make the allegations go away. And again, this is a masterclass for teaching you. It changes the narrative. It focuses more on him coming out, him embracing it, him talking to other maybe young Black athletes who are dealing with this, and gets away from the two clout chasers who are trying to possibly get him for money and take away from his positive journey as a gay man.
But that's just it. He is not willing to come out and profess that he is a gay man.
And I feel like that's a problem. I feel like that's a problem with his team.
Right. That's
their route of what they're doing right now. Do you think the route they're doing right now is smart? What they're doing now?
I don't think he has a team. I think he's his team. I think that it's at a point like if you are his public relations person, do you not fire your client right now? Unless the checks are really big, I'm just like, you got this, man. Good luck.
Yeah, if he's gonna do this of the whole, why do you guys care and why are you guys paying attention?
Right.
You guys are weird. I'd be like, bro,
and all that. I'm just like, okay. But I don't see him coming flat out and saying, flat out, I'm a gay man. I don't see it happening. Because where's that? You hear me say this all the time. Where's the fruit in that? Where you're planting that seed?
Oh, there's a whole
where's
tree.
The fruit? Where's the fruit in that? What is he going to benefit from that? He benefits more in the long run by basically saying what he's doing right now. We may not like it.
No way. Not in 2023. If this was years ago, he absolutely would. But in 2023, he is still a handsome man. He's still an athlete who gives commentary he could be on the Today Show. The gay, handsome Black man athlete who's giving sports commentary.
He don't even speak that well to be giving no sports commentary.
You think they care if they can get us again? Gay Black man, sports commentator, fun, goofy, who will do the fun things we do, who will dress up as a woman on Halloween. You know how the Today Show get down on Halloween. They would be throwing money at him if he embraced it.
His legacy, and I don't care if it's 2023. His legacy in basketball would be eviscerated. And here's the thing: his legacy's
eviscerated now.
He should have been when they just released their top 75 players, his numbers say that he's a top 75 player. His career, he says he's a top 75 player.
Absolutely.
They did not make him a top 75 player. And there's at least 3 or 4 guys in the top 75 that you make a case against. And so I don't see him going quietly into the night with his career would have been much better than having to deal with this type of nonsense. But we see it, you know, those of us who live in the Atlanta area, you know, we've heard things. And he's a very bloviating. He's a high energy, can't go nowhere and not be. First of all, you're 6'9".
He's a dick. He's a dick. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. He's a dick. So, I have met Dwight Howard very many years ago. I've met him. Yeah. He's a jerk. There's nothing special about him. Right. He's a jerk. It is what it is.
Amazing athlete. He's an amazing athlete. He had a great career, but this year is not the way that you want to finish up your public life. He could have done and lived the next 30, 40 years of his life, have a long God blesses him with, and all this stuff. His lifestyle is his lifestyle, but now it's on Front Street. So it is what it is. All right, let's move on.
We're going to talk about next, you know, we're doing bad story, good story, bad story. So our next story that we have to talk about is a shooting that took place in Maine. And honestly, it truly was a rampage. It truly was a rampage that happened in Maine. You know, let me get the exact information. There's several stories. Okay, at least 3 of the 18 victims were part of the local deaf. Oh, see, I'm starting the wrong point. I didn't even know it was that bad. I got to find a better article. I didn't know 3 of the 18 people were part of the deaf community. The main shooter shot up a bowling alley. Mm-hmm. Then he left that bowling alley and he shot up a bar. He killed 22 people. A lot of them being men, most of them being men, one of them being a child. Apparently 3 of them being members of the deaf community, which, you know, I consider them a part of the special needs community, which is close to my heart. And they had a manhunt for him for 48 hours. They couldn't find him, and he ended up having a gunshot wound to his head. He committed suicide. He was a military member who was dealing with mental health illness, who was hearing voices and had told people that voices were telling him to do specific things. This is devastating. One of the most interesting moments of this is that one of the was a senator or congressman from Maine.
What?
You have no idea what I'm talking about.
No.
One of the senators or congressmen from Maine actually retracted his thoughts and feelings about assault weapons. He came out and said, after this happened, I regret my stance on assault weapons. I feel bad. I failed my community, which I appreciate him saying that, but also makes me go, so it had to happen in your own backyard for you to feel that way?
Absolutely.
13 kids or more were killed in Uvalde who had no protection. And now because it happened to you, I mean, I appreciate it, but you know, I'll find a better article. But make your comment.
Here's the thing, because geographically we're such a vast nation, and people, we've been so desensitized with horror flicks and slasher films and so much of all this nonsense on TV every night that it doesn't become real until it's real for some folks, right? If you're not naturally an empathetic person, it's easy for you to look at this thing and say, yeah, that's terrible, thoughts and prayers. But then I got to go back to work in Congress and listen to the Republicans sit back and say, you know, take the gun out of my cold, dead hands. They're not taking my guns. And I just sit back and I'm just like, just freaking warmongers. I'm like, it's crazy. And here's you say, after Maine shooting leaves deaf community reeling, some call for more ASL interpreters, mental health support.
And they absolutely need it. It should not be a question if they need it. And here's the whole story. So authorities say a U.S. Army reservist fatally shot 18 people at a bowling alley at a restaurant in Lewiston, Maine on Wednesday night. A massive search for 40-year-old Robert Card of Bowden was launched until he was found dead Friday. The shooting in Maine, the shooting in Maine's second largest city and the 36th mass killing in the United States this year, according to the database maintained by the Associated Press. And keep in mind, this shooting in Lewiston, the small city, is the most amount of people they've lost in like the last 5 years. They are the safest community in the country. They don't have issues like this. And so to deal with this is insane to them and to us.
But, you know, they're always so worried about, and he said, Maine shooter's family concerned for his well-being alerted sheriffs in May. So they've known that this guy has had a problem
yeah.
for a while, right? But it's these type of communities that are some of the most vulnerable because
soft targets.
Man, I walked into where were we? Trey and I we walked into the school. Yeah, it was at Michelle's school. And it's just I've seen so much of this stuff now. I leaned over to Trey and I said, anybody in this place can have anything. There's no metal detectors when we walk through the door.
No.
You know, you don't hear about mass shootings on the west side of Atlanta. Right? Because every school you walk into has got metal detectors and they can't even think about walking into school. So, you know, they're protected while they're inside those doors. These churches and suburban schools and, you know, this is a regular old night, you know, the middle school band is playing and all this type of stuff. And not one person walking in a community that's full of people walking around in the grocery stores with guns. No one is even discouraged to bring a gun into a public place like that. Or even if they are discouraged, no one is preventing someone from having a concealed weapon in those type of places.
No.
That's the type of community that we're looking at, what this happened to in Maine. And sometimes you sit back and it's like, we're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you're in the hood, you're afraid every day walking around in the streets. If you're in these suburban situations, like it takes one nutcase to send the whole community reeling. And it's just.
And I think Miguel and I have a unique perspective that a lot of people don't, because we don't live in the main part of the city. We both live in suburbs outside. Sure. So sometimes you forget. You walk around the Walmart. Oh, I got to go pick up these 5 things. Oh, kids, all come on. Or, hey, I have to go to Devin's school. Or Devin had a birthday party on Sunday at the bowling alley with all these people. You know, we're a small community. Right. But it doesn't take one person from your community just to decide, I'm mad, I'm hearing voices, I'm upset, I'm going to shoot this whole room up, and you would never know it.
Yeah, it's just we're definitely at a crazy place. All right, so let's get some how what in, and I don't know if you have a how what or not.
I do, and you know exactly what it is. We talked about it.
All right, well because I don't, but I'm sure.
Can you please go to Kim Kardashian's Instagram page, please?
Oh Jesus!
So that This is a good one, y'all. Ooh. Yeah, go to her Instagram page.
While you go ahead and set it up while I go to her page and find what you're talking about.
For some reason, you know, Kim Kardashian could turn straw into gold. She is Rumpelstiltskin of life, of products. Her newest product is a bra that has nipples on it. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I said nipples. It's nipples that are on the outside of the bra, so you always look perky and cold. And it's a commercial, and Miguel is about to pull up this very unique commercial so y'all can see the new innovation from Skims by Kim Kardashian. And while he's still pulling, oh, there we go. Where's the volume? Where's the audio?
We don't even need no volume. Gosh.
Okay, can you see it? Those are nipples, you guys, right there. Those are okay.
The Earth's temperature is getting hotter and hotter. The sea levels are rising. The ice sheets are shrinking. And I'm not a scientist, but I do believe everyone can use their skill set to do their part. That's why I'm introducing a brand new bra with a built-in nipple. So no matter how hot it is, you'll always look cold. Some days are hard, but these nipples are harder. And unlike the icebergs, these aren't going anywhere. The Skims Ultimate Nipple Bra.
Kim Kardashian.
Earth's temperature.
Now, people are going to buy this bra, but I actually posted on Instagram, and a lot of people have jumped down my throat, and some people have supported. I basically said, what's going to happen is some raggedy girl is going to wear this to work. Everybody's going to stare, and she's going to file a sexual harassment suit against the job.
Of course.
Some people are just like, oh my God, why would you think that? You have a miserable life. I'm like, no. In this day and age, that's exactly what's going to happen. And some people are just like, oh, this is great for breast cancer survivors. I'm like, no, it's not. No, my mother's a breast cancer survivor. If I showed her this bra, she'd probably pop me in the mouth. No breast cancer survivor wants their nipples showing as they leave the house.
I just, and it's always, that goes back to that, my eyes are up here. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, okay, I hear you, my eyes are up here. So don't go out here wearing the Kim Kardashian nipple outside. Of course, my computer want to bug out of me now.
Now, if you want to wear it, to like a nightclub, I get it. You'll get free drinks. You'll be so drunk you will have to like call 5 Ubers to get you home. You want to wear it to a Beyonce concert? Cool, great, fine. You want to wear it to those type of fun places? I totally get it. But if I saw a mom wearing this at the splash pad as a local mom, I'd be like, you are trifling. You're ridiculous. Or a woman wearing this to a gala underneath her gown. Who? I guess there's a market for everything. This just seems very obnoxious
market for
to
everything
me.
And everybody, you know, and so the internet has got folks really at a place now that it's just like there really isn't a line. You know, my what is have you seen the Ice Spice her dancing this weekend?
It's dressed as Betty Boop with her butt's all out.
Right.
Yes.
You know, and the thing about it, like my daughters are, you know.
But have you seen Drake dressed as Ice Spice?
No, I have not seen Drake
dressed
as Ice Spice. So for those people who don't know, Ice Spice is one of the popular rappers right now. And some of the stuff that I'm seeing, you know, as I'm looking at this career and the careers that are coming out between Ice Spice, who she's not a terrible rapper to me. She's okay. She's not Sexy Red terrible. You know, but it's just like now to that point where it's just, you got to just take it to the nth. You just got to take it as far as you can take it. And now I don't even think these people know where the line is, because I'm sure this image of her has been getting her a lot of attention entire weekend, and getting her streams up, getting her attention up. And she's, you know, it's, you know, they say she wasn't naked. She had on some fishnets, and she had on a thong.
She was naked. Here's the thing: the City Girl vibe is dying off, and the reason why I can say that is because the City Girls album just came out, and it did not do anywhere near what the record label projected.
So many facsimiles. There's so many facsimiles of the City Girls. There's, you know, and it's really, I said this a few weeks back. We thought when Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion came out, and they were, you know, and then you got the WAP joint that came out a couple of years ago. We thought when Cardi B came out, I guess it's going on probably 7 or 8 years ago now, that she was pushing the line. She's normal now. Like with Cardi B, you know, when you start talking about the Sexy Reds and the Sukianas, and who goes 1 minute to she want to be walked like a dog with her ponytail.
She's a hot mess. She's
crying because she want people don't treat her with respect. I'm just like, girl, get a psychiatrist, get a therapist. Like,
not even get a therapist. Just pick a lane. Either you want to be respected, you're moving forward in your music, or you're down for what you're doing, and it just is what it is. It cannot be both. We're not about to both you. Like, no, I'm sorry.
And there's so many people out on these internet streets that just dare you to even question, but she doing her. Like, why aren't y'all jealous, and y'all need to mind your business? Like, no, she's made this our business by every time I walk up on these internet streets, it's up and down my timeline. So you're getting the response that you're looking for. Live with the response that you're getting. You know, Sexy Red out there pregnant, and she's out there doing twerk fest, and you know, and I'm just like, when will this be over? Please, young people, it's up to you. Save the rest of us. Tell your artists that you're tired of it. Tell the people you want more people like her. You know, or you know, SZA, you know, she comes out. SZA's not that bad. SZA's okay. She makes good music.
But
you know,
SZA also sets a very she sets an unrealistic example for how women should look. SZA has had a lot of surgeries, and she's always like, no, I just grew up.
Yeah.
Did you just grow up? Stop it. No, you didn't. You had work done, and it's fine.
She most certainly had work done to her body, but I think now she's like, because people saying she got work done to her face, she said nothing really happened. When you look at her nose side by side, like, girl, ain't that much contouring with no makeup in the world. You had some work done. Rock with it. You know, pretty much all the people in that space have. So, you know, I don't know who's next. Who's next on the road trip? And because I'm just trying to figure out before we get on, like, there's some artists. You know, Coco Jones is pretty, you know, traditional R&B and not overexposing herself. Her is not overexposing herself. There are a few artists that are following a template that's going to keep them around for a long time. Some of these other artists, your 15 seconds of fame is about to be up. All right, what else you got?
Yeah. I don't know if you saw the interview with Kodak Black, the rapper, on Drink Champs.
Absolutely not. No.
Do you know who Kodak Black is?
I absolutely know who he is, and I can't understand most of what comes out of his mouth. But
so
go ahead.
For those guys who don't know, like Miguel, Kodak Black went on Drink Champs with Nori, and he was high. He wasn't just intoxicated; he was high.
Isn't he always high?
That's the thing that everybody wants to bring up, and Ray J even made a comment about, hey, we need to get him some help. And of course, what Kodak Black's response was, you could have texted me personally. You know me personally. He was looking for clout, as he then proceeded to snort a line of cocaine when he put the phone down. Like, you could hear it in the Instagram video he posted. So Kodak Black needs somebody in his corner. He needs someone to help him and say the drugs and everything you're doing is going to be your absolute downfall of a good career that you're just ruining. But Drink Champs is garbage, though. You're getting people super, super drunk to have these real conversations. Is that really the smart way to have a successful podcast?
It's called Drink Champs, yes.
No, it's called Drink Champs, Miguel. But I'm just saying.
It's called Drink Champs. These people are willing to go up there. This is the same show. They don't make, when Shaquille O'Neal came on Drink Champs, he didn't drink a drop of alcohol. I'm drinking water and taking shots of water. Yeah, they had Chuck D on the other day. Chuck D. These people have their own. They make their own decisions. And when it comes down, let me see if this will give us a little bit of context on.
Hey, babe, how'd you?
All right, I'll come back after the commercial runs, because when I saw Kodak Black, first of all, like I said, I can't understand half of what he's saying. It's.
What made you name it that? And what made you make that record?
I ain't gonna lie, I was in the studio and I was just going off, right? And then like the first bar that came to my mind, like when it came to that part, I knew perfect fate, but I still ate it because I'm criminal. I really ain't want to say that shit, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like that was the first thing that came to mind.
You didn't want to say gremlin?
I ain't want to say I knew the perk was fake, but I still ate it because I'm a gremlin. But that shit was just hard.
I can't do it. I can't understand him. Did you understand what he was saying?
No, I've listened to 2 parts of this interview, and I've had to listen to it a couple times, and I only was able to get every other word.
It's just there's a culture of extreme intoxication that I don't recognize. Like, I'm an OG now, but, I used to hang with people who used to smoke a lot of weed
But smoke a lot of weed is not what we just listened to. That's not weed.
Right, exactly. Because you made my point. If anybody I was around was on anything else but weed, I don't know what it looks like. So whatever he's on, I don't know what that is. Right? People will be on coke. I don't know what that looks like. And call me a prude, call me, you know what I mean, you whatever. But that stuff, that little whatever, taking pills and drinking syrup and all this type of stuff that they do, it is a quick path to destruction. And it's you look at that thing and you just like, my God, but he's making that choice. I'm just praying that more young people.
He's making that choice, and he doesn't need to. I'm hoping this phase of the City Girls and people like Lil Uzi Vert and Kodak Black, I hope this phase is about to weed itself out, and that we can go back to really having good music, enjoying lifestyles and everything like that. I mean, but even the Halloween, I'll say how I also feel it's getting better. Even Halloween costumes is better. Weren't all naked hoes. Yes, Ice Spice dressed ridiculously. But did you see the girls who dressed up as Janet Jackson? From Poetic Justice, not Janet Jackson from here. I'll put my phone.
That seems like that would be pretty cute.
Let's see if I can pull it up to the screen. It won't come up. But Adele, she dressed up as Morticia, and not like a slutty Morticia, regular real Morticia. We've got Sweetie or whoever. Oh no, I forgot what her name is. Who did Marla Wayans from Don't Be a Menace to Society?
I see that.
We've got people who wore Goapele and Tina Turner. We haven't seen these kind of real costumes.
Well, go ahead.
Even Megan Thee Stallion went as a covered up Poison Ivy from Batman. She could have been butt naked, and she's not.
And she's not, because here's the thing, guys, and please, young ladies, these young ladies don't get it. Like when you show everything, you leave nothing to the imagination, right?
These are my favorites. It's Sweetie on the, I think it's this side,
Okay.
who is Edward Scissorhands. Remember Edward Scissorhands?
Somebody else, you know what? One of my, yes, okay. And who's on the right?
Kiki Palmer as the Bride of Frankenstein.
So first of all, Halloween is my least favorite as you know, holiday. I'm always my second favorite holiday is November the 1st because it's the day after Halloween. But and then all the candy corn and the terrible costumes go away till next year. But the young ladies, man, I swear for goodness, man, these brothers out here, these men, you show them everything. It's gonna be a short conversation. It ain't gonna be no courtship. It ain't gonna be, can I buy you a drink? It's gonna be like, yo, I got the Uber outside right now. Let's go on to the crib.
The kids are gonna be adorable for Halloween. They're going as dinosaurs, and Devin's going as a dinosaur hunter.
What does that mean?
He's gonna ride an inflatable dinosaur with like a fake gun and a hat, and he's gonna hunt dinosaurs, and he's gonna hunt his brother and sister.
If y'all want to do that, I don't like to take that stuff away from young children. You know what I mean? That they see other kids doing it. We were at a friend's house. We stayed at a friend's house this weekend. They're way out in the suburbs outside of Milwaukee. What's up, Willie and Dr. Camille, Tyce. Their neighbor across the street. We got in late after the party. For my father-in-law, and they had like a full-blown speaker with some weird I'm going to
the Halloween noises.
And all I'm just like weirdos. Like, and this wasn't our friends, it was the neighbors across the street. I'm like, they had a full-blown in their front yard. It was a light shining on something that looked like it's a shadow or somebody walking up on you.
That whole decoration setup.
Just ridiculous. And the whole community was like, it was a fun little community thing, I guess, I do not find and will never find that to be fun. I do not like to bring evil.
I went out to dinner Saturday night with a good friend of mine, and next to where we were eating, there's like a huge grassy knoll. All the kids wore their costumes and played tag. It was adorable, mildly adorable, except for the kids who wore scary costumes. It would pop up out of the bushes next to where we were eating and try to scare us. I almost punched a kid in the face.
The whole got to be scaring people thing, like, Anyway, all right, let me make sure we missed those stories you want to touch on this week.
We didn't. I have a fever. Can I go? I'm so sick.
Okay.
I'm going to turn off these lights.
I think so. I think we can get on up out of here.
We love you guys. I got to go. I love you. See you next